Hey gang, doing some Dynamite Thor promotional art. Oh yeah. So, if you don't already know, I did a Dynamite Thor graphic novel with Comicsgate author Jon Del Arroz. And that was actually a few years ago. And recently he got back in touch with me, said, hey, would you like to come back and do another? And I was like, oh yeah. So I got all excited about it, and here we go. So now, who is Dynamite Thor? He is a 1930s public domain superhero, and his ability is that he can withstand dynamite, and so he has little belts that he has these little sticks of dynamite on that he uses. And one thing that he does is he'll excuse me, he'll stand on a piece of dynamite, and the explosion of it will hurtle him up through the air, and that's kind of how he flies, if you will, how he travels. So I have this circular-looking explosion behind him, and he's coming out dynamically towards the audience, dynamite in hand. And so it's pretty much a fun, it's a bit of a goofy character, but the way that it's treated is fun. I think the whole point of Comicsgate is to make comics fun again, and so this character is comedic in a way. I mean, the way John writes him, he's cooler than, say, like the 1930s version. And even though it's sort of silly and ridiculous in some way, in a sense, you could almost say all superheroes are. That's maybe a little rough to say, but they're superheroes. They have superpowers. You have to suspend disbelief in order to kind of enjoy the mythology of that. And anyway, he had found this character, and he found me, and he thought, oh, this artist would match well, because I have kind of a sort of a retro style, I guess. Anyway, it was just a blast working with John. He's a real sweet guy, super smart, and a lot of fun to work with. Like, he gets it in terms of what comics are for. I mean, it's a form of entertainment. You want to have fun with it. So it's going to be a while before he gets to the script writing, and that's fine, because I'm tied up with another project that I'm going to need a couple months to finish. So this isn't sort of coming out of the gate anytime soon. Nevertheless, I thought I'd have some fun. My channel's here, says I hope you went live on X. I did not. I can hang out for a minute. Going to try to load this in Brave so I can listen in the background. Very good. It's occurred to me that, like, when I do these live streams, I just muse. Whatever comes to mind, I just kind of talk about it. A lot of times there'll be things that are going on. Hey, look who's here, my good buddy Hollandier. The artistic ragouts are simmering, cooking in the wonderful Donald Contation flavor. That is so beautifully stated. Well done, well done. Are you doing any music recently, buddy? Got anything new to share? So, yeah, I'm just having some fun with this character here, kind of getting back into the Dynamite Thor world. Trying to make a fun, dynamic work of art that we'll get people excited about the project as we launch it. I do have a good bit of freelance work that I'm not doing at the moment because I'm doing this, but working on another teen drama novel with Spencer Quinn. Spencer Quinn publishes through Countercurrents, Greg Johnson's platform. And he also writes articles for Countercurrents. Very highly intelligent guy. He's written several books. I've had him on my show. One of the interesting books that he wrote and discussions we had was on Solzhenitsyn, who many of you may know is a famous Russian who survived the Gulag. And, he talks about how just, the whole phenomenon of communism in Russia, how it all went down and everything to do with that, the perseverance of the human spirit under such terrible odds and all of that. So pretty good stuff. Also, there's a kind of a fantasy novel that he wrote called Charity's Blade. We did an interview with him on that. Sort of a sci-fi dystopian story of a woman who she's living in a kind of post-apocalyptic America, and her child needs some kind of rare medical treatment that forces her to travel across the country. But this is in a what's that Mel Gibson film? They just put out a new movie, Road something or other. Mad Max. It's like a Mad Max type America and all the things she's got to go through to get her child to get this medical service. This is a really good book. Hollandier says, I've got a bit of a block at the moment. Had some problems with some old but vital to my project VSTs on my new hardware for a long time. Finally sorted it out, but it's jinxed my flow. I know how that works, so hopefully I'll get back. Yeah. I've got a whole bunch of new songs that I've written on guitar, and I just keep kind of like playing them over and over and just sort of waiting for inspiration to hit. Like, what do I want these to be about? What do I want to, what would this particular song work with, or things of that nature, so I'm in a bit of a block myself. I'm in kind of a weird place in life right now where I'm moving. I will be moving eventually, and all the details of that are just not clear. So it's hard to explain, but it's kind of got my head all over the place. So fun times. But good news is that I've got all these cool gigs, So that's what it is. Okay, that was weird. Suddenly it got on a commercial here where it's talking about the Soviet Union. I tell you, that YouTube is listening very closely to me. What kind of commercial should we line up for this guy? Anyway, pretty creepy, right? Creepy. Anyway, one of the songs that I have is it's got a very Rolling Stones vibe. It's just like a cool, it's sort of a funky rock riff that it just jives really, really well. It has a really good groove to it. It's a real fun groove. And so I want to keep that feeling, that mood to it. So I'm thinking, whatever the song is about, maybe should be I don't know. It's got to be cool. Whatever it is, it just has to have like a cool vibe to it. Should it be one of those sort of protest songs that's, like a political protest song? Should it be just your basic rock song? Should it be a love song? Because if it were a love song, it'd be kind of on the sexy side, I guess, have that kind of vibe to it. I feel like we shouldn't be averse to writing love songs in our culture. Like it's okay. It's we do political music, but like it just seems to me like from time to time we should just put out stuff that is just human interest. Just like normal music. That's just from our perspective. I think you understand me. So I'm kind of wondering how far I want to render this. There's an explosion behind him, so technically the shadow would maybe be right, in the front here. I'm going to be using some gray tone markers, some Copic markers to get in there with that. Hollandier says, I agree, we Europeans are masters of cheese, both literal and figurative. Oh my God, dude, this is a good one. A Donald Kent love song would be interesting. So I have them. I mean, there's, when I was writing songs back in college and stuff, a lot of them were, had that kind of longing for love or ooh baby baby kind of quality, to them. Heartbreak, those sorts of things, But yeah, I just haven't kind of come to the place where I'm like, does this fit the Donald Kent brand? Does it work? You know what I'm saying? I can't say for sure that it does. I suppose I could just put it out there and let the audience decide. You know what I'm talking about? Oh yeah. So I'm pretty excited. Tonight is a huge dance festival that I'm going to, house music festival that I'm going to. And yeah, expecting to meet a lot of friends from the scene and just have a real positive vibe. I guess it's kind of an escapism in a sense. I don't know, escapism's a terrible word. It's a little over the top, but like, all work and no play makes Donald a dull boy. So we don't want Donald to get too moody. He might start thinking of revolutionary techniques and such, What else is going on? I just got some family in town. There's nothing. I can't say I've got any big news to share per se. I'm kind of in a mode of like trying to just not be stoic, but be stable, I guess. Just sort of like get things in order. There's there's always some kind of personal stuff to going on behind the scenes, but nothing super serious at the moment, thank God. Thinking a lot about being a better dad, and like what can I do for my son that would be more helpful to him at this point in his life. Obviously, important things to think about as a parent. Um, I think when people hit a certain age, the what would I say? Like the mother has the primary influence or takes center stage earlier in life, and then as a child gets older and is becoming an adult, then I feel the father takes the wheel, and so that's pretty much what's happening right now. Getting him connected with some creative people for creative projects for him, and so I'm hoping that's going to go well. My channel says you can move someplace rural like West Virginia. That's a tricky topic because I have a very deep longing to go home and kind of go back to where I grew up. It's a type of, I don't know what to call it. Like, I had a very, very traumatic experience when I was young, and I kind of want to return to a time when I was happy and youthful and, me, so to speak. And so there's this calling that I feel to move back there. It's a little far away from everything that I like to be near, and so there's a little bit of inconvenience to that. If I do move back there, then that's just sort of part of the equation. Is I kind of have to say like, all right, well, tack on a half hour to going anywhere or whatever. Not that's not like a huge problem or whatever. There's a couple family and friends that are still around there, so it's a kind of bonus in terms of like people being in town that I can just hook up with and hang out with. But it's really just like my whole life. I don't know. I'll just be honest with you. It's like my dad died when I was 18, and then I moved off to college, and this, that, and the other thing happened. My mom sold the house, blah blah blah, this, that, whatever, and now I have an opportunity to possibly move back. So I'm like, just thinking about it. But yeah, I think for what's coming, the more rural, the better. I mean, presumably it's going to be safer in country, in rural areas for what's coming. It's very, very, very noticeable right now that the locations where a lot of us live in the suburbs and whatnot are clearly being pushed in with migrants. I mean, it's literally every week, every month, every day. Like you just see more of them and more of them and more of them and more of them, and they're being pushed in. You can't go to the supermarket. You can't go anywhere without seeing this. And I look at, like, I just had to, do a little grocery shopping, and I was looking at all these, like, boomers, these white boomers in line cashing out. And I'm thinking, all your labors are paying for your own destruction. Everything all the work that you've done, all of this stuff, like, it's just disturbing, it's a very disturbing situation. I don't know how this is all gonna play out. I don't think it's gonna go well, though. Um, also, last Monday's Patriotic Art Alternative show did not happen because Paul Patriart was working, and it just, I don't know, it just fell apart. I think he got so caught up in his work he forgot about the show. Oops. And so it didn't happen. And tomorrow I've got some stuff. I mentioned I've got some family in town, so I'll be doing family stuff, and so I won't be able to do the show tomorrow. So I thought, get out there and do something, man. So I thought, well, why don't we do a little bit of this Dynamite Thor promo art. Let's see. Corey's here. Hey, Corey. Hey, bro. Good to see you. Yeah, man. What's shaking, Corey? You got any news? News of the world for us? Enjoy your family tomorrow. Hope it will be a good day for you. I'm thinking it'll be okay. Some, excuse me, some families moved to the area, so I am tasked with kind of showing them around, showing them the ropes, as it were. And so it's sort of like work and play kind of combined be like getting the family familiar with the roads and how to get places and basic needs, where the supermarket is and this and that, But then also, go out for lunch or ice cream or, just some fun stuff as well. Hopefully the weather will be okay. That would be nice. But it's fine. It's fine. I guess the real thing that's been on my mind is just how to get this art career stuff to pay more, to pay better, to get it so that I could go down to part-time with my day job. And so I won't say it's troubling me, but it is troubling me. Like, meaning like, you know, you go to your job, you do your shit, and you're like, I know that I could be doing so much more with my life right now. This is in a sense taking me away from my true destiny. You know what I mean? And it's a very terrible existential angst that you get from that feeling. It's awful. And, you know, you're like, why am I wasting my time here when I could be creating things, you know, da da da. And it's not to say I don't like my job or something, but I think you guys get the idea. It's not rocket science. Um, and so what's occurred to me is that, like, okay, I've got these two situations going on where I've got this huge graphic novel that I'm getting paid to do. It's a freelance gig. And then I'm going to be getting back in front of the Comicsgate audience with Jon Del Arroz when the Dynamite Thor project gets going again. And so, what about Militia Man? What about my stories? I've got many, many, many stories. And so there's a side of me that's like, well, maybe you shouldn't do these huge graphic novels, but try to do, like, you know, short stories that you can just put on your website, you know, and people can see them for free. Let me just read the comments quick. We'll just get a writing AI to write a script and art to AI to come up with the line art and voice AI to read the script. Yeah, just replace Donald Kent entirely. Then we can still have a stream tomorrow. There you go. Yes, there you go. Corey says, "Man, if anyone deserves to be paid for their talent, it's you, dude." That means a lot. I deeply appreciate that. The future of art looks bleak, unfortunately. Yeah, man, Hollandier agrees. That's kind of part of the whole thing, too. Today I was just sort of musing on, like, what is it? Why do I need to do this so badly? What the fuck is wrong with me? You know, like that kind of thing. And, a lot of what I will say and want to say in my art is obviously stuff that you're not allowed to say in certain countries and this and that, you know. It's a type of protest, I think, that, you know, in many ways, that, like, the type of stories that I want to tell is in a way my form of protest. When I grew up, I was really big into, like, kind of like 60s, 70s music, a lot of that protest rock. I think as nationalists, we poo-poo a lot of that culture because it's kind of hippy-dippy and drugs and this and that and the other thing. But the spirit of it, I do think, actually belongs to us. I think that, like, you know, in the 60s, 70s, Vietnam was the big issue that everybody was protesting. Well, now the big issue is white replacement. And we should be today what, you know, Bob Dylan and John Lennon were back then. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to be the John Lennon of the, you know, white replacement cause, if you will, you know, and to, you know, have a voice out there that causes social change, social awakening. And I think that's a very fair, rational thing to say, you know. Okay, something about this. Maybe I'll zoom in on this so you guys can kind of enjoy it a bit more. Forgot about the Zoom feature. Actually, I have a cousin that kind of looks like this guy right here. This music is badass. This fits the mood like very well. I feel like getting in a fight or something now. Okay, Corey. Let's see. Well, let me go back here. Well said, Hollandier. The artist is the magus that enchants its people. Beautifully said. Very beautifully said. So musically, I could totally be doing that. So here's generally how I'm thinking. When I move, I'm gonna set up my studio in such a way where everything is going to be simplified. I won't have all the clutter that I have. I'll be I'll just have the bare essentials. You know what I'm saying? And with that being the case, then I can focus very much on what needs to be focused on. And but a lot of it comes down to just the discipline of you come home from work and then you go to work, here doing this. I think I've talked about that before, how like, you this is so much exhaustion that you have, and it crushes your ability to do this kind of work. So that's a problem. Which is why you wish you had patronage of some kind. You wish you had some kind of financial backing. Yeah, I think back to my college days when we would watch movies about famous artists, and they all had patrons. So they just were in the studio all day long and all night long, and they just pump out work, you know, and they knew that these patrons were going to buy it. And or they would have, exhibits and sell through the gallery systems or this or that. That's what I need, is something of that nature. I feel like I need to work out some shadows here, but I'm going to do it in pencil. Excuse me, because I want this to be more dramatic. We got some comments here. Corey says, pardon me, it's hard to convey how important artists are to us. There will be no success in the future without art. Some of the fight is preserving what's already here for the next generation. So, yeah, it's probably something I talk about a lot on the shows and stuff, but on the one hand, it's who we are. Excuse me, it's our identity. To control your own identity, how it's portrayed. That's why our enemies have Hollywood. That's why our enemies are so busy demoralizing us in the media and entertainment. they know the power of art and entertainment. They know how it demoralizes people. It crushes their spirits. You know, when all you see is versions of yourself as losers and criminals and drug addicts and all the rest of that. It's, what the hell, I might fast forward this music a little bit. Hold on. That's better. And time for a commercial. As soon as you touch the computer, it's like, oh, do you want a commercial? Oh, can we sell you something? Oh, because all of life is about shopping. Make that solid more. So this makes the character more dramatic, I feel, like having these kind of darker. But I feel like I just need a different marker to bang out some more bold shadows. All right, so let's see what we got. This is like Hard House. Not actually a fan of Hard House, so I think I will get rid of that. There's this one girl on the house music scene. She's super cute, and I'm like a big fan, and I don't know, she flirts a lot with me, so I kind of, I'm sort of like putty in her hands. But anyway, she's adorable. Anyway, the first time or a couple times that I saw her was at a specific venue that primarily only plays the house music. And then I saw her playing at some other place. I'm like, oh, great, I'll go check her out over here. Excuse me. And friends of mine were going to the show and stuff. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a great time. And it was a great time, but she played Hard House, which is like this super fast kind of beat, And it's very aggressive. House music is sort of more sexy. It's not like bong, 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 bong. It's, to me is a little absurd. Like, how do you dance to music that fast? It's just silly, I guess. I don't know. I just don't jive with it. I know it's super popular and blah blah blah, but that's fine. That's fine. You can like it. We don't all have to like it. Okay. Be nice to your neighbors. Hey. Anyway, so there's that. And I'm just leaving it on because I'm kind of absorbed in the work that I'm doing right now. I'm in the flow, guys. I'm in the flow. Don't break the flow. You know what? Now that I'm here, let me check and see something. I gotta start adding some shadows. Ooh, I'm glad I didn't pick that one. Alright, hold on a second here. You guys can come up with some interesting questions. You know what I was just on? Have you guys heard of Chief Moody? Chief Moody he's from Scotland, and he is a vlogger, YouTuber, on patriotic alternative TV. So I don't know if you even knew that there is such a thing as patriotic alternative TV. It's Mark Colette's channel, and pretty cool. So anyway, he just interviewed me, and I just posted it on my Twitter. I posted it in my Telegram. Um, he is he's very much interested in art. It seems to me like he wants to do comics. He had like lots of interesting questions about comics and stuff. Um, he asked me. There's a lot of like when you do like a first time interview, people ask you like, how did you become a nationalist? Like, what was your red pilling experience and that kind of stuff? And so, I kind of went through the usual discussion on that. Um, this might be too much. I think I'm gonna need to change the music. Um, all right, we'll get to that momentarily. But yeah, so it's the kind of discussion that you guys hear fairly frequently on this channel. I think you'll appreciate the show. Mm. I like it because it puts me in front of a UK audience, which is cool, I think. Um, then we got into Trump predictions. What do we think is going to happen with the election? And I'm pretty. I'm in a tricky spot here because it's like back in 2016, I lost all my normie and liberal friends because I voted for Trump, and now I feel like I'm going to lose my right wing friends because I'm not voting for Trump. So I'm like, I don't want to counter signal him too hard among the wrong crowd, just because people get real huffy and puffy. But as far as I can tell at the moment, he really. I feel that the small hat tribe has got him in their pocket, and they know, like, okay, how that works. Like, if is it money? Was he always a part of the plan? Like, what, all of the behind the doors stuff. I don't know. I don't know that stuff, but it's pretty obvious he's batting for the small hat team. And there's a bunch of other things that he's failed to deliver on. It's just, different types of points that one can make. Right now, for example, Nick Fuentes is trending a lot because he's come out against Trump. And he used to be, like, he's American first, right? And he's like, it's, he can see through Trump's behavior recently that, like, okay, the mask seems to be off. Like, it seems to be like, okay, this is what's going down. And yeah, so that's what's going on. And even though I'm not a groyper and I'm not like in the Fuentes camp per se, I appreciate anybody who speaks the truth. If it's Candace Owens or Stu Peters or Stryker or Enoch or I mean, like, anybody anywhere along the political spectrum. Um, I don't think. Well, one thing that I'm seeing that's brewing is a new kind of media war, whereby Judeo-Christians will be propagandized against Muslims. Um, everything is made to seem like Pepsi or Coke. Everything is you're either on this side or you're on that side, and we know who plays both sides, right? So, and we know that they know our triggers. They know how to, like, oh, the Judeo Christians, and that they believe in XYZ. I kind of feel like that's why Nick Fuentes was brought back or brought on, yeah, brought back on Twitter, was because perhaps he was meant to galvanize the youth vote. You know, there's I don't believe that Elon is our guy. You know, I mean, there's no better way to make people trust you than to just regurgitate and mirror the things that they say. You know what I mean? So just because somebody can say our talking points, like Vivek Ramaswamy, for example, doesn't mean they're on our team. You know what I'm saying? I want to like Musk. I want to believe that he's a free speech absolutist, which is, if that were true, then people like Jared Taylor would be back on. Who else? David Duke. I mean, you could go on and on, but so what do we got here? A couple new friends here. Alfred is here. Alfred, I think a lot of the right are over Trump. This is an interesting conversation. We should try to dig into that. Could you share your thoughts on that a bit more, Alfred? Hollandier says, all I know is that Laura Loomer was born a man. Oh, God. I don't know if that's a fact. I know she's Jewish. I know she had surgery, uh, like, to, like, make her nose not so big and this and that. And she likes to dye her hair blonde. Um, anyway. Um, what else? Okay, one more here. We got Carlos here. Colette and Frody are streaming right now. Ah, well, then why the hell are you watching my show? I've had both of them on my channel, and I consider both of them friends, actually. We've corresponded outside of the shows and stuff, but I feel like those two guys are solid. Like, that's it's great to have people like that, on our team, so to speak. What's the topic? What are they doing on the show? All right. The line art was gorgeous before the shadows, but man, this is like visual ASMR. So, thank you. I'm not sure if you mean before the shadows, like the shadows ruined it. Is that what you're trying to say? Or I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm just trying to give it more depth, more bang, more volume. And by volume, I mean like 3D volume. Not like audio volume. Um, a lot of times, the colorist will do this kind of work. And when I say this work, I mean the toning of a piece. That the tones are put in with the colors. And that is the thing that creates that sort of 3D look, if you will. Um, I think eventually, probably this will be colorized. We'll have a guy do it. Pay somebody to do that kind of work, and it'll look sharp as hell. It'll look real sweet. But I will be giving this art away at some point. Like there'll be some kind of when you're doing crowdfunders for comics, you have special kind of like bonus packages and things like that. And people who donate more money or something or other, they get special bonuses like this. You see what I mean? Yeah. So there you go, and now you know. So to me, like that hand is. Hold on, let me zoom in on the hand. Like it has much more volume now. You know what I mean? Because of the shadow. Um, the shadows made it doubly amazing, says Hollandier. Corey says the shading is bringing it to life for sure. That's the idea. Um, I I have a, how do I put it? My sensibility towards comics and art in general is far more dark than Jon Del Arroz's. We're different in that regard. We both love the fun of comics. We both have that childlike love of comics in that regard. But as far as like my own creations, my own ideas, my characters are way more tragic. Uh, I I just I feel like on the one hand I'm expressing something about myself, but I don't know. I feel like when the hero suffers in some kind of way, that there is some sort of it's like the difference between Batman and Superman in a sense, where Batman is the tortured one and Superman is kind of the Boy Scout. I'm gonna vibe more with like the Darth Vaders of the world, than the Luke Skywalkers per se. Like I want to be a Luke Skywalker, I want to be the good guy, I don't want to be typecast as the bad guy. But and I think you can overcome traumas and so sort of be the hero of your life, your narrative, if you will. Um, it's a good thing. But here I am musing again. There's another thing that I've been concerned about is like I want to switch over to what do you call it? Rumble. But I'm like, how am I going to migrate, 4,000, 5,000 people over to Rumble? Ugh. It just seems like it's such a pain in the ass. I don't know that people are going to do that. I don't know. Um, but Rumble's got lots of great content on it, man. I don't know how often you guys are there. Granted, there's a lot of that kind of conservatard, you know, buy my emergency food type programming, like, fear porn, you know what I mean? The type. Anyway, so let's see. Corey says, I also relate more to the darker characters, overcoming personal obstacles while saving others, but never able to save themselves. Oh, so tragic. Oh, that right in the feels, Corey, right in the feels. That's like there's just a which I feel makes you love the character. You know, it's like because you have this kind of sympathy for them. It's not quite empathy because you if you're not going through it yourself, you can't exactly identify. But you just always feel that like, oh man, I wish he would catch a break. You know, I wish. But you know, wouldn't it be great if you know, I don't know, Batman and Catwoman hooked up. Or something like, or you know, oh, and then when they do, it's like so satisfying. Like, oh, that's great that you know you finally see Batman happy, you know, and he's not all dour and tortured all the time, you know. There was a series that came out sometime in the 2000s where Batman and Wonder Woman had an affair, and it was in the Justice League series. I'd have to dig into my comics collection to like find you know the story. I don't remember what it was called, but you know they'd have like a you know a superhero meeting of some kind, and oh we gotta go do these you know save the day or something, and then like Batman and Wonder Woman would kind of sneak around a corner into some sort of private area and start kissing and stuff like this. And then like Superman walked by and like caught them. You know, it was like you know that kind of moment. You know, like oh what you know like this. You know, you get the feel for it. So it's not like he was jealous or something, but anyway, it just was neat. It was kind of neat. I suppose that's the thing about these characters is that if you're a true comics fan, you, in a way, these characters are real to you. And that's not to be silly per se, but you, you know, they've been around for freaking decades, and each one of them has their own lore. You know, they have, you kind of get to know them. Like if you're a good comics writer, it's about understanding the character and writing to the character. So it's like these new sort of lefty woke writers. They'll write Spider-Man or Captain America or you know somebody like that without really understanding like well Captain America wouldn't say that, you know, or he wouldn't feel that way in that situation. They don't care about the background. I've actually seen like as somebody put together a bunch of clips of different comics writers for Marvel and DC that they're literally saying in these interviews like I've never read a Batman comic in my life or I really don't care about the background of this character. I'm going to do whatever I want. You know, I'm going to write whatever I want. And it's just like shit like that is annoying as hell. You know, it's just annoying as hell. But I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the thing of art. What art is in many ways is, excuse me, we live vicariously through these characters. We long to experience something more than our mundane lives. And so we turn to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and Justice League and X-Men and you know whatever else. And it doesn't have to be superhero. It could there could be you know like Breaking Bad or you know any one of those Netflix type series or like those cop shows. You know, why are they so popular? I don't know. People somehow or other they uh, they get into the life of the characters on these shows. You know, the personal lives of these different characters. And like I'm not into cop shows personally or whatever, but there's got to be a reason why they're popular. You know, that's kind of a different topic, but anyway. So, what are you guys talking about? Let me read. So I got some fun comments on here. Line art, shadows. I also relate more to darker characters, overcoming da da da. They just have to hang a kryptonite. Do not disturb sign on the door and tell Superman to get lost. That's funny. That's quite funny. And Batman, of course, has one in his belt, utility belt. Corey says no one should be allowed to do that with someone else's characters. True, and you have to say, in a way, these characters are our characters. Like, you know, these famous superhero characters, they're owned by the fans. In truth, right? In our hearts, right? Yeah, they, maybe Marvel or DC have the copyrights, but in our hearts, we own those characters. You get my point? So, like, to do something like that is just it's a deep offense. It's like a massive offense. And I remember going online on like some of the comics message boards in the 2000s, excuse me, and I would say stuff like that. I'd be like, I didn't swear or whatever, but I'd be kind of like, F you, so and so, for ruining this story because, like, this, and these are basically people that are like trying to turn the characters gay and shit. Like, it's just, drives you nuts. Anyway, no one should have. I really can't respect an artist that could prostitute their own creators out like that. Well done. Same with the Disney movie remakes. Yeah. It's don't even go there. I reposted something on Twitter. What was it? Um, it some clips of like the women that were involved in the new Star Wars. There's a new Star Wars out, and it's just all girl boss type shit. It's and anyway, the clip was basically saying like there's not one positive white male character in this story, and then they cut away to people, the actresses and writers, it's director, etc., and literally saying making white men cry was the goal of this Star Wars. That's some fucking dark ass shit right there. Like making white men cry. Like, wow, like, wow. I mean, to me, I look at that as like sociopathy on parade. Like narcissistic personality disorder on parade. Like in public. I can't imagine having like if I had some kind of mental neurosis and like going out in public and like parading it around as if it were some kind of empowerment, because that's what these bitches are doing. Fucking bitches, man. Shit. Total dumpster fire. Total garbage. And I guess there's the question of like how does Disney expect to make any fucking money off of this, I mean, it's just more rocket fuel for Comicsgate and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, people who are making good entertainment, Granted, they're not movies, but, Anyway, maybe I'll turn the music up a bit. Yes, I think I should do that shortly. Momentarily. So it was really neat being on Chief Moody's show. Real sweet guy. He was at the Patriotic Alternative. Hold on. Come on. Oh, fuck. Let's go. I hate when technology doesn't cooperate. Anyway, he was at the Patriotic Alternative Conference, and that's if you look him up, it's most likely you'll see, his speech at the conference, or whatever. And it's just, he's just like an ordinary guy who got fed up with shit. He's just really just just a normal guy who's like, we're noticeably and steadily becoming a minority in our own fucking country. Like this, you got to speak up. You got to speak up about this shit. I was hanging out with one of my nationalist friends last night, actually, and we were sort of like, hold on, I lost the cap. So we were like, you know what? We didn't even want to talk about politics because we're like, if it's not revolution, there's nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? It's just everything that can be said has been said and is being said ad nauseum. And until the tyrants hang, there's nothing more really to say. You know, it's all just bullshit, really. It's just news fodder, as I call it. So, getting back to Trump, let's say he's elected, and there'll be this big, yay, haha, we're back, we won, it's all over, everything's gonna be great now. You know, it's sort of a smoke and mirrors thing. Like, people need to start coming out against, not against, but being critical of Trump and saying, why didn't you finish the wall? Or why didn't you do anything when they stole the election? I mean, it's not that he didn't do anything per se, 'cause, like, you know, there were court cases, you know. I just, like, how much of it's real, how much of it is theater? You know what I'm trying to say? Hey, Alfric is here. Awesome sauce. Good to see you. They are miserable, but yeah. So yeah, good points. I don't know if I'm ever gonna vote. Yeah, I saw a funny meme that's like, voting is the adult version of writing a letter to Santa Claus. Change my mind. Oh shit, dude. Yeah, yeah. It's fucked. I don't think it'll ever. We need a whole new system. We got to go third position. Third position or bust. You know, you got to figure in the grand scheme of history, like, our one human lifetime is barely a blink. You know, it's barely a blip. And you think, like, say, for example, Spain was under Muslim occupation for like 700 fucking years. Holy shit, you know. What were the Spaniards doing in that time? How were they surviving under that? Because it's looking like the UK and many other, and Europe in general. I mean, I do believe wholeheartedly that there will be a massive, massive revolution or war of some kind against Muslims specifically in Europe. I don't know about the States, but for sure in Europe. How that all takes shape, who is running the narrative. Like, earlier I was talking about how the Jews in power are going to be pushing for that. That's going to be the next. I mean, let's start off, okay, it's literally in their holy books that this is what's going to happen. So they're going to politically engineer that to happen. You see my point? So, like, if your Torah and your Talmud say that, you know, I forget what they call the Muslims. I know Edom is whites and Europeans, Christians. I forget what the word they use. Joseph or something. Anyway, that we're supposed to have a war and kill each other, you know, and that da 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 da. I mean, it's a cult. It's like a death cult. It literally is. Like, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing. It's like being married to like a an axe murderer. You know, who you can't get out of the house. You can't escape. You're stuck with this axe murderer, and somehow you have to live with this and like survive it. You know, it's just total madness. And here I am like, oh, I'm gonna make a great promotional video for this for Dynamite Thor, and all these normies are gonna be watching this and thinking, what the hell is he saying? What is this guy talking about? This insane dude. All I have to say, if you're thinking that, all I have to say is that in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. And if you choose to look away from the truth, then don't come at me. You know what I mean? Because I'm all about the truth. And we know how that works. So, what else are we going to do here? I feel, maybe I'm wondering if I could use pencil for the explosion. Because it's a lighter type of line. It's not a dark line like the black ink on this. That actually could work. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Look at how smart I am. Oh my god. So, yeah, I don't know if that's dark enough though. This might work. This just might work, my guys. Boy, I feel like I'm in like the Blade scene where they're all the vampires are underground in a dance club, and then Blade walks in. Oh shit. The Daywalker. I like Blade a lot. I love that movie. I forget the actor's name. He's freaking perfect. I mean, the guy is perfect as Blade. You know how I blank out on names. Let's see. Good points. Hollandier for us. For the U.S. is more or less who Europe has outsourced all military to, save for some token force. And the U.S. will take the wrong side, and they also did in the Bosnian conflict. But that's just my cynical view. So, one thing I always kind of want to remind people is like, when we say things like the UK, the US, Germany, Spain, da da da, what we're talking about is not the people but the governments. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't fucking decide where the military is going, you know, on any given conflict. And then of course you get down to, well, who's infiltrated these governments? They're just literally playing both sides of the wars, you know, and we're the ones dying. It's a giant meat grinder. Like I said, until the tyrants hang, it's just all talk. It's just all blah, blah, blah. We're just speaking to ourselves. This explosion looks like a big bunch of grapes. Speak to your higher self, man. Anyway. Let's see. US is the people are always blamed for the bad things, and state does. You did this, and state is very glad to take credit. Well, I mean, and it never stops. It's like, oh, you know, whites have to pay for invading Muslim countries, so you have to let in Muslims into your country because you did that, and it's like, I didn't do shit, you know. I don't accept Muslims in my country. I don't accept Islam. It's a slave ideology. You know, years ago when I worked in, I worked at this school, and they had one of the owners of the school is a Muslim dude, and it's essentially a 35% Muslim population at the school. And this was before I was red pilled or race pilled or any of that stuff. And I was getting to know one of the Arabic teachers, a guy from Egypt. He was one of the only most of the uh, students and families were from Yemen. But anyway, this guy's from Egypt, and we were kind of striking up a friendship, which I would have been interested to, like go to his house and meet his family and learn more about him, Islam, Egypt, everything. Unfortunately, that just sort of never panned out or whatever. But there was one time when, see, he really wanted to learn about Buddhism, and so that was like a big conversation that we were always sort of trying to have. It was nice. It was a nice thing. But anyway, where am I going? Oh yeah. So at some point, he asked, like, what is the relationship between Christians and the Christian God? And I said, well, we're considered the children of God. And then he says, well, in Islam, you're the slave of God. I think about that, and like as if that's even more devout, that's even more spiritual to be God's slave. That says everything about like the Muslim worldview. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just it's pretty deep if you think about it. Like perceiving reality as like a type of a master slave relationship. It's horrible. It's very dark. It's very, very dark. See, now that's freaking coming alive now. Let me kind of hold this up at like a more realistic angle for you. You can see a little bit better. Does his face look okay? Yeah. I think it could be better. Anyway. The people are always blamed. We read that. I formulated that poorly, but I'm certain you know what I mean. Yeah, I understand. Islam does mean submission after all. Well, there you are. Case closed. It's looking great. Oh, thanks, Corey. Hollandier, the pencil was a great choice. Yeah, it's working. It's totally working. I don't know how much. I don't want to. I feel like I want to do more, but I also feel like I need to take a break. Pardon me. Take a break on it because sometimes you need to walk away from your artwork for a while and then come back to it and be like, okay, this is what needs fixing. Like I'll get in the flow and you're like, yeah, wow, this is fun, this is cool, bang, bang, bang. But sometimes you can overdo it. You know what I mean? Just for giggles here, I'll show you something that I did on the side, and I've shown this on another stream, but I thought, wouldn't it be neat to give the character an upgrade, like to kind of modernize him with a cooler costume instead of like even this costume is an upgrade from like the 1930s costume that he had, which was sort of more goofy. This one is at least slightly more superhero-y, whereas like this one I feel has a fun, more of a modern look to it per se. It's more badass kind of. He would like put sticks of dynamite in that gun and shoot them. It's a little more Punisher-like, I guess. Yeah, come back to it. All right, well, that being said, my guys, I think I shall leave you here. I have got to get myself ready to go to the big, huge dance festival with all that house music I love and all those fine, fine ladies. So, to get myself all gussied up, get some nice cologne. And I bought a new shirt that looks really slick. Just like gonna get myself all hooked up for it. So I'm excited. And I think on that note, I shall end this marvelous stream with these wonderful friends. Thank you so much for coming. I will get back to. Hey, I is here. Hello, I. Yes, I will enjoy my evening. All work and no play makes Donald Kent a radical. So go out and have some fun. No, wear body odor. Women respond to it better. I hear there's a thing about that. There's like a pheromone or something. That like the pheromones, something, something. Well, I'll be dancing for like 4 hours straight, so I guarantee I'll be sweating. So, anyway, love you guys. Good times. Stay real. Stay alive, and we will see you on the internets.